Good morning. We are going to start with the second lecture of Advanced Data Structure and Algorithms. I hope I am audible to you. And in case of any query, you can just raise your hand, okay, or you can just post the chat message in a chat box. Okay, I am going to yes, Sapna wants to say something. I'll just yes, Sapna.
Good morning, ma'am. Sorry, good
Good
afternoon, ma'am.
morning.
Ma'am, chat section open. Ma'am, chat section is off.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get you.
Ma'am, the chat section is off.
Just a second. Let me check. Let me check. Now just check.
Ma'am, I am a presenter right now, so I won't be able to check.
Okay, okay. Ask anyone. Yes, yes, yes. I can get the messages. They are able to chat.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
okay, great. Everyone is responding. Fine. So let's start with the content where we left in the last lecture. Yes, Pallavi. Dishant has to say something. Just a second. Yes, Dishant, you can speak. In case of linear data structure, we learn that they follow a linear fashion in terms of. Just a second. I'll just predecessor in case the first element doesn't this yes Dishant, there are all options for the first and the last element of any linear data structure. The first element will not have any predecessor and the last will not have any successor, right? Yes, I will revise the last session in very short, in brief. Okay, Dishant, I hope I have answered your query. Yes, Dishant, you can speak. You have the controls to speak now. Okay, fine. We are going to revise, tap the previous session and we'll start from where we left off in the last session. Just a second. Yes. First of all, what we studied in the previous session was, first was introduction. Okay, Dishant, fine. Yes. First of all, we studied the need for this subject. Why we need this subject? First of all, we studied that. Why we need? Because in our day-to-day life, even in fact in computer science, when there is a data that must follow some fashion, they must be arranged in some fashion so that all the operations becomes easier, right? Okay. So next thing that we studied was the types of data structure. We saw their types. There are two types. One is linear, another one is non-linear. Okay. We saw what is non-linear and what is linear and what are the various types of like various examples of linear data structure. We saw the array is one of the example and we saw the linked list as example. Okay, so we have seen these things and we have seen in under nonlinear data structure we have seen that they follow a nonlinear fashion and they are the examples are trees and graphs. I'll just explain you with a little bit example. For example, let us take the example of some company or let us take the example of our university. On the top most, we have, let us say we have chancellors. So, just a second. Chancellor sir. Under Chancellor sir, there are Pro VC sir and we have VC sir. And under Pro VC sir, there are various EDs. You can say under Pro VC sir and VC sir, there are various EDs. And under EDs, Engineering Executive Director, there are HODs. And under HODs, there are faculty. And under faculty, there are students. So this kind of structure, when there is a hierarchy kind of thing, that is what? That is your non-linear data structure. I hope this is clear. Yes, this is called tree and it is an example of non-linear data structure. Okay, I'm just recapitulating what was being covered in the previous session. Yes. Am I clear? And then we saw what is an array. We saw what is an array. I just need to change the orientation. We saw what is an array. We also saw what are the advantages of arrays. And the very first example was that they are fast. They give the fast access, right? Why they are fast? Because we can directly access a particular element in the array. I'll simply write the name of the array and I would be able to access the ith element of the array or I plus 1th element of the array. Am I clear? Due to indexing. Yes, yes, right. Due to base indexing. Perfectly right, Anubhav. You are absolutely right. Now we'll see what is the formula behind this. Let me write. There's a formula behind the picture. For example, there is a, I'm not able, just a second. Yes. Now let us consider this is my array. Just a second. I have this array, okay, and the name of this array is A, and the indexes are 0, 1, 2, and so on, 3, okay. Now what is happening? There is a concept called base address. What is base address? See, address of the first element of the array is base address. Now let us say my base address is 100. I have the address, I have element, let us say 200, and it is stored at the index location of 1000, let us say. So in this example, our base address is 1000. Okay. Then there is another thing called W. What is this W? This is the width of each cell. Width of each cell. Now what does this mean? See, width W is equal to size of each element. If I'm storing, I've already discussed that we store the similar type of data items in the array. If I'm storing an integers, then what is the size of an integer? It's let's have a answer from your end. What is the size of an integer? Yes, it is 4. It basically it depends upon the compiler also. Yes, sometimes it is 2 bytes, sometimes it is 4 bytes. Very correct. Like in Java, it is 4 bytes. If I talk about Turbo C, in earlier version, it was 2 bytes. Yes, it can be 2 and 4. Depends. Right. Perfectly fine. Now, W is going to be the size of each element. Okay, the formula says, let's take and let's do the manual calculation first. See, this is my array. Okay, this is my base address, which is 2000. This is, let us say, if it is an integer and integer is taking 2 bytes, what will be the next value? Please type in the chat box. If the first element is stored at 2000, the next would be 2002. Yes. The next would be 2004. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. And then it would be 2006. We are considering that array integer is taking 2 bytes. Perfectly fine. Okay. Now, actually what happens is when I talk about that there is a element, you can say 15. I have stored 15 over here. This means that this 15 is taking the memory space from 2000 to 2002. And the next element starts from 2002 to 2004. and the next element starts from 2004 to 2006. Am I right? Right? So basically each element is taking the size of W bytes, that is width of each cell. Okay. Yes. Now let's look at the formula now. So if I have to check, yes, if I have to check that let us say my name of my array is A, and I have to check the location of fifth element of the array, and I assume that my array starts from first index, means it is not zeroth index, it is first index. So the formula of this would be, let us say, location of a array of fifth element would be given as, what would be the formula? It is the base address plus width of each cell multiplied by, there are two terms associated with bound. Another one is upper bound. What does it mean? Lower bound and upper bound. Lower bound is the address or the index where the array starts. So in our example, I am saying that your lower bound is 1 and the upper bound would definitely be n. That is the number of elements. Yes. Lower bound is the lower index and upper bound is the last index. Okay. Then W multiplied by what it would be, location minus lower bound. Okay, so let's solve it. If I assume that my array starts at 2000 address, let's take the previous example. Third element, I'm looking for the third element. We saw that our third element was starting from 2004 and it was going up to 2006. Let us compute it using formula. So base address was 2000 plus width of each cell is 2 bytes, and the location, I am finding the location of the sixth third element of the array, and the lower bound of this is, my lower bound is 1. Am I right? Why? Because my index, I am taking the general case that my array is starting from 1 index. In your case, if I talk about C++, Python, Java, so it would be 0 index. Okay, so the formula comes out to be 2000 plus 2 multiplied by 2, which is 2000 plus 4, which is actually 2004. So we successfully found that the array element which is at the third index element addresses 2004. Am I clear? Please raise your hand. Could you please repeat the formula again? Yes, sure. I'll just, the formula is written over here only. I'll just underline it. This is the formula. That is the base address plus the width of each cell multiply the location minus the lower bound. Hilary wants me to repeat. Okay, Hilary, I'll just repeat it. First of all, let me take one example. See, this is my array. See, this is my array. Okay. Now let us write here. My array is starting from first index, and this is the second index, this is the third index, this is the fourth index, and this is the fifth index. Okay, Hilary? And there is a term called base address. What is base address? Base address is the starting address where the first element is stored. So I assume that my base address is 2000. I assume basically the addresses are in hexadecimal number. I'm just taking an example for simplicity. Addresses are not stored like a number, they are hexadecimal numbers. I hope you people know that. Okay, now the base address is 2000. What happens is, the formula says that base address plus width of each cell, that is the width or the number of bytes taken by one element, that is W, represented by W, and then is the location or the item or the element whose address I want to find minus the lower bound. Or you can say this as M. Okay, let us say I want to find the address of mth element of the array. I want to find this mth element, means I am actually finding the location of A of M. Means I want to find where this A of M is there in the memory. Means I am looking at the address of the mth element present in the array. I hope this is clear. Clearly? Okay. Now the base address is 2000. Okay. What is the width of each cell? I assume they are integers of 2 bytes. Okay. So the width of each cell would be 2 multiplied by the mth value m minus the lower bound. I am taking the general case that my array starts from index number 1. So my lower bound would be 1. If it is C++ or Java or Python, it would be 0. Okay. Now let us say m is actually equal to 5. I am looking at the address of the fifth element. So the formula is 2000 multiplied plus 2 multiplied by 5 minus 1, which is 4, and 2000 plus 2 into 4 is 8. So it comes out to be 2008. Means the fifth index element starts from 2008 and extends up to 2010, obviously, because it is going to take 2 bytes, right? Now let us do it manually. This would be 2000. This starts from 2002 and ends up to 2004. This starts from 2004. Then this starts from 2006 and ends at 2008. This starts from 2008 and ends at 2010. So this is what we solved over here. So we solved over here. Is this okay, everyone? Okay, okay, okay. I'll try to improve my handwriting. Yes, I got a message from you. I'm trying to work on my handwriting. Is this okay? Okay, shall we move now? Now I'm moving on to our slide where we left. In case of any doubt or any query, you just let me know. I'll repeat the thing. It's not a problem, or you can personally contact me. I'm just sharing my slides. The last topic that we covered. Okay. So this is what we have seen. This was this shows the example how the array is being stored in the memory. It is stored at a contiguous memory location. We have already seen this, right? So now this is the formula. See, LOC is going to return you the location, that is the address. LA is the name of your array, and K is the index whose address you want to find. It is actual to base address of LA, that is the array, plus W is the width of, you can see that W is the number of words per memory cell, that is the number of bytes taken by each number or each element of the array, where K is the index whose location you want to find, and lower bound is the first index of your array. It depends. It in C it is 0 or in Pascal it is 1. Okay, so that's why I'm taking the general case. I hope this is clear. Shall I move further? Okay, fine, fine. Now there is one example. There is a company. Yes, I'll just read the question for you. There is a company of automobile, and it stores its records in the array named auto, and it has started storing the records from 1932 till 1984, and now you have to, and each record is taking W words. W is equal to 4, means each record is taking how many bytes? It is taking 4 bytes. Okay, and now you have to compute for 1964 65, like what would be the address of 1965 uh, year, where the location of 1965 is present. Am I clear? The question is clear. I'll just I'll just run a quick poll. You can just click on the right answer. You can see the answers. The answer is on screen. Yes, start responding. Yes, yes. Quickly. Yes. The question is, Shivish, that I'll just explain the question on the board once the poll ends. I'll just explain it and I'll solve it for you. I'm just waiting for others to respond. Still 23 students have not responded. Yes. Yes, the number is reducing. Good. So I'm ending the poll now. Those who have not responded will be recorded. 6 students. I'll just take up your query, Madhu. Just wait. 6 students have given the wrong answer. The answer is 332. I'll solve it on the whiteboard. You just wait. I'm repeating the question. Okay, let's move on to the whiteboard to check what the question was. Madhu wants to say something. Pankaj, just wait. Yes, Madhu, you can speak. You were raising your hand. Okay, Pankaj, I'll take up your query now.
Ma'am, please repeat the question.
I'm just repeating the question. Yes, right. See, there is a company which maintains the record in the form of array and it names that array as auto. Okay, and each cell is of 4 bytes. Right? The company has started recording the records from 1932 to 1984. Okay, and you have to find the location of 1965 years where the record of 1965 years is stored. So the formula says that, is this clear? Let me write the formula then. Is this thing clear now? Yes. Okay, let's write the formula. Formula would be like, you are going to look at the address of 1965. So if the name of the array is auto, you are looking at the location of 1965. You are looking at its location, right? The formula is base address plus width of each cell multiplied by the location that is to be found, whose location we are finding, it's 1965, and minus the lower bound. Lower bound? Lower bound is the first index where the array is starting. In our case, the company started to record the values from 1932. Now the base address, can anyone tell me what the base address was? Yes, it was 200. So the base address is 200 plus, exactly, the width of each cell is 4 multiplied by 1965 minus 1932. What is the value of this? Compute it. So the value is 33, right? So 33. Now it comes out to be 200 plus 4 multiplied by 33. What it is? You will definitely, yes, it is 132. Then it comes out to be 200 plus 132. It is 332. I hope the answer is clear now. Yes, great. Everyone has responded. Shivish, now it is clear? Okay, great. So I'm moving on to our slides. We'll move to the slides now. Just a second. Okay. So this is the example that we have solved. Now moving on to, first of all, we'll start with the next data structure. First of all, let me tell you what can be the disadvantages of the array. First advantage was it provides you easy access. Why it is providing you the easy access? This is because of this formula only. You simply write, let me share whiteboard first. You simply write a of 5. What happens? It directly computes. Writing a of 5 directly computes what? The address. How it computes? It is using this formula only. I hope this is clear. So array provides us fast access. They are very fast. Now what can be the disadvantage of array? Disadvantage is that they are, let us say that they are not able to, like, they are not flexible in size. How do we declare an array? The declaring of the array is data type, then the name of the array, then the size of the array. Now we are mentioning the size beforehand. We are mentioning that the array is going to contain 10 elements beforehand. Yes, memory, static memory, exactly. Arnab has given the example that it follows the concept of static memory allocation. What does that mean? Static, what does it mean? Static means something that does not change. So it follows static memory allocation. Why? Because at the compile time only the memory gets allocated. If I have, yes, if I have an integer array of 50, then if I assume that array is of integer is of 2 bytes, then 2 into 50 means 100 bytes would be allocated to me before the execution of the program. So the memory is static. Now later on I realized that I only stored 10 numbers in it. Now I was allocated with the 100 bytes, but I am only storing 10 numbers, means 10 multiplied by 2, I am only using 20 bytes. Now 100 minus 20 means 80 bytes are being wasted. So this is the problem with arrays. It gives you the allocation of the memory at the, yes, Dheeraj, the memory gets wasted. Memory is underused. It remains underused. Exactly. And one more student has given the answer, insertion and deletion. I'll jump over it later on when we will see actually the linked list concept, and we will start working on the algorithm part. And by this time, you just need to know that the arrays are fast. Why they are fast? Just because of that formula, because they are computing the address of a particular element directly, and they are poor in terms of memory usage. There can be the waste memory. Now to overcome this wastage, can I? I'll just do what? I declare the array to be of less size. Now later on I realized that no, I do not want to store 10 numbers, rather I want to store 100 numbers. Now compiler has already given me 20 bytes of memory at one place when the size was declared to be 10. Now later on I realized now solution to this would be, what I will do is I will change my, just I'll rename, or you will rechange the size of the array. Then what you will do, you will recompile your program, and then the new memory would be allocated now. So this is just a overhead for whom? This is the overhead for the compiler. Am I clear? So if you give the oversize, then there is wastage of memory. If you keep it undersized, then recompilation has to be done. And you are not sure that you will be given the same block of memory or not. So there is a problem with array. array are not good in terms of memory utilization. They may lead to the wastage of the memory, or they may lead to the underusage of the memory. And you will recompile your program and you will rerun your program. So this is the disadvantage of array. Okay. Yes. Shubham wants me to repeat. Definitely I'll repeat. Shubham, see. Yes, Anubhav. That's why we have linked list. See, now Shubham want me to repeat. See how we declare an array. First of all, we declare the array as int name of the array, then the size. When I'm doing this, you compile your program. When you compile your program, compiler will give you allocate your memory block for this particular array. If your array was of 5 elements and it was all integer, it will allocate you 5 multiplied by 2, it will allocate you 10 bytes of memory. Okay, right? Now later on, you only store 2 numbers in your array. Now there 2 numbers means 2 into 2, you are using only 4 bytes of memory. Okay, so out of 10 bytes, you are only using 4 bytes. How many bytes are wasted? 6 bytes. So wastage is there. First disadvantage. Now to overcome this, what I do, I decide that I will keep, yes, I decide that I will keep the size to be lesser because I'll just reduce the memory wastage. I decide that I keep my array size to be of 2. Now later on I realized that instead of 2 I need to store 20 numbers in my array. Now but I have already given the 2 bytes of memory, like 2 memory space for 2 numbers means 2 into 2, 4 bytes have been allocated to me. Now I cannot store 20 number in these 4 bytes. I will change the size of my array over here. I'll make it 20, and obviously the compiler need to reallocate you the memory. So you need to recompile your program so that compiler gives you the another block of memory, and then you will rerun your program. Okay, is that clear, Dheeraj? Dheeraj, you can just post your message in the chat box. Yes, okay, fine. So we have seen that advantages and disadvantages. Advantages was fast, and disadvantages memory wastage. Memory wastage or not in good in terms of memory. I hope this is clear, right? Now the concept of linked list come into the picture. See, I have already discussed that array are following the concept of contiguous memory allocation. They are stored at the contiguous block. They are stored at a single block of memory. Okay, means they are stored in a continuous manner. Now let us say that, let me take one example, that there is my memory. This is used memory. This is free. Then this much is again used. This is again free. Now this is 20 bytes and this 40 bytes. Let us say I want to store 50 bytes of my data. Okay. So if I store it in the form of array, can I do that? Please post your message in the chat box. If I'm storing my data which is of 50 bytes, but it is, I want to store it in array, no, it's not possible. Yes, right. Why? Because the 50 bytes are, I do not have contiguous 50 bytes of memory at one place. Exactly. So the solution for me is the linked list. That's why the linked list came into the picture. What you might get a question like, what is the need of linked list when we already have the array for contiguous memory allocation? We were already having the linear data structure of arrays, and what is the need of linked list? Linked list come into the picture. They follow non-contiguous memory allocation, and what I will do is I will store some of my data in over here and some of the data over here, and this need to be linked with each other. And how they will be linked? They are actually having the addresses. This block is having address, this block is having address, memory address. So they are linked with the address of with the help of memory addresses. Fine. So yes, Anubhav, there is no indexing, only the addresses and the data, right? Okay. So we'll see. We have already seen. Yes, exactly, Tanu. Yes. So we have seen what is the need of linked list. Need of linked list is when you do not have contiguous memory allocation at one place, then you can use linked list. Now let's learn what the linked list is. See, I give you a problem and I give you a notebook for its solution. Okay, and in that notebook, you open a first page, and then you see that I have written the solution is on page number 19. Then what you do? Then you move to page number 19 and look for the solution. Over there, I have written the solution is on page number 20, or you can say 26. You jump to page number 26, get the solution, somewhat solution is there, and I have written rest of the solution on page number 35. You jump to page number 35, then I have given you somewhat solution over there, and then rest of the solution is on page number 15. Okay, then in that on page number 15 you find the complete solution, and then I'll stop over there. Means I've given you the complete solution. This is how the linked list is working. Linked list has the concept of data, and it also have the concept of address, right? So you find the data, and from address you get the address of next block of memory. In on that block of memory you find the data and you get the address of next block of memory. Then from there you jump to the next address, you find the data, and from there you get the address of next block of memory. Then you again go find the data, and if the address is not further, it is null, then you will stop. Okay, so this is how the linked list is built upon. This is the concept on which the linked list is built upon. Yes, I'll just demonstrate you that how you can visualize the linked list. Linked list is nothing, it's a collection of nodes. This is a node and it has two parts. One is the data part, another one is the link part. We call it as link, or we call it as address, or we call it as next pointer. So it's the terminology, basically it is an address. Okay, now let me draw it in a better way. So this is one node, it has information and it has the link part. That link will take you to the next node. Okay, then there is another node, there is an information part, and there is again a link part which takes you to the new node, and there is again an information part, and there is no link part, so it means it is a null. And second node address is contained in first node, third node address is contained in the link part of second node. Now from where the address of first node will come? The first node address is in special pointer variable called the start pointer variable. Start pointer variable, or you can say header, or you can say first header. There is a name called first. It is just a terminology. Basically, it is a variable capable of holding the address, and that address would be the address of the first node. From first node, we'll get the data, and from the link part of first node, we'll get the address of the next node. From that, we'll reach that node, we'll get the fetch the information, move on to the next node by having the information from the link part of the node. How many bytes does it use? See, it will be taking definitely the disadvantage of, you have answered the disadvantage also. Disadvantage of linked list would be, it would be taking extra space, whereas there was no extra space required for the array. Why extra space is required? For storing the pointer. So it would be taking, the pointer take, yes, the pointer takes, sometimes it depends how much memory is being taken by the pointer. Pointer basically uses 2 bytes. Pointer is what? It is a number actually. It is the memory address which is in hexadecimal. So the value taken by pointer depends upon the compiler. Sometimes it is 2 bytes or it may be 4 bytes. So this is the extra space is being used for storing the pointers. Is it clear? Advantage of linked list is that you do not require a contiguous memory space, but yes, the disadvantage is that you need the extra space for it. I hope this is clear. Okay, yes, you have posted the message as well. Is it clear? Okay, Can anyone tell me another disadvantage of the array? You just need to raise your hand. I'll quickly make you presenter and ask your answer. Yes, Anubhav. Anubhav, I'll just make you the presenter. Yes, Anubhav. Sorry. Yes, Anubhav. Anubhav, I'm not able to. Yes, Anubhav, you can speak. You are present now.
Any
You're not audible, Anubhav. There's a lot of disturbance at your background.
ma'am, I heard I'm already told about the obsession application problem in array.
Yes, that is another thing.
So if we
What can be the disadvantage of linked list? Okay, I'll just take up this question. I'll just tell you. Syed wants to say. Yes, Syed. Yes, Syed.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, actually the number of elements which are stored in the array, ma'am, they should be known in advance.
Yes, the memory requirements are always a problem with the array because either you must know the number of elements to be stored in array in advance, or otherwise it will create a problem. You may end up into the memory wastage or the recompilation of your program by changing the memory size.
Even the insertion and deletion is quite difficult.
We'll see that because I do not want the things to be confused. When I'll
Yeah.
demonstrate the algorithms, then I'll definitely you will actually yourself understand that what is the problem with the array and the what is not with the linked list. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll just add up the thing. I'll just add one more point that in linked list, as you have seen, if you have to jump to a particular location, I'm just making you participant, Sayed, now. Do you have something else to say?
No, ma'am, I'm done.
Okay, okay, fine. See, the problem with the linked list would be problem is the linear access. It does not provide random access. Random access is not allowed in linked list. Why? You cannot directly jump to a particular fifth node of the linked list. For that, reaching the fifth node, you need to have the address of fifth node, which is in fourth node. For reaching fourth node, you need to have the address of fourth node, which is in third node, link part of third node. Then how can you reach the third node? You need to have the address of third node, which is in the link part of second node. And how you will reach the second node, which is in the address of which is in the link part of first node. So basically, you have to start. You will first reach the first node, then you will read the second one, then you will read the third one, then you will fetch the address from the link part of fourth node, and then finally you will reach the fifth node. Yes, the searching would be of the order of n. We'll see what is the complexity means. We'll see later on. Yes, they do not give us the random access. As the array were giving to jump to a particular element, I was simply writing fifth, a of 5. I was reaching the fifth element. Why? Because that formula was being computed at the back end. So I'll just summarize this thing in tabular form. If we have arrays and we have linked list, we'll see first the advantages. It is fast, okay, but it is good in terms of memory usage. Basically, it follows the static memory allocation. The memory is allocated in the beginning of the program or when the compiler compiles your program. Here, the memory would be allocated at the runtime, and we sometimes call it as dynamic memory allocation. We'll see later on in your programming lab that what how to go for the dynamic memory allocation. Now look at the disadvantages. Disadvantages, memory usage is poor. Disadvantage of this is it gives you linear access. It does not gives you direct access. Direct access is not possible in linked list. Okay, and it gives you non-contiguous memory allocation. You can store it in a non-contiguous memory allocation. Over here, you can store it in a contiguous memory allocation. Okay, am I clear till now? I think these things are clear. Yes. I'll quickly run a poll on your screen. So I have started the polls. Check your screens and start answering. Then we'll wind up the lecture. Great. Three students have responded wrong and 15 have not responded. I'm waiting for you to respond. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Everybody has responded. Yes, yes. So I'm stopping the poll over here. Yes, definitely the answer is dynamic memory allocation. Why? Because the memory is not allocated at the compile time. The memory is allocated at the run time, right? So I'm stopping the poll and I hope you have understood this lecture. We'll move on to the next topic in the next class. Okay, fine. Please do keep checking your homework assignments. Okay. Yes, somebody has posted few. Yes, this is what I'm saying, Shivish, that arrays follow static and your linked list follows dynamic memory allocation. The answer was dynamic memory allocation because I was asking for linked list, not for arrays. Okay, Shivish? Class notes I'll definitely provide, and I've also uploaded the content on your Blackboard account. You can check it out. Is there any minimum word limit for homework question? No. Okay. Yes, I've already uploaded the PPT. You just check. I have uploaded the PPT lecture wise. Okay. Do we have lectures after lunch? You have a special expert talk again today, and the sir is going to demonstrate how to carry out the research. Okay. No, it's not CUMS. It's on Blackboard. Okay, fine. So I'm stopping. We are winding it up. So see you in the next lecture.